What up, headbangers? How you doing? I'm Robb O'Day, and welcome to the Greasiest of all time. Today we're chilling with Parathion out of Athens, Georgia. How you guys doing?
Good. How
Good.
about yourself?
Pretty good.
I'm good. Why don't you introduce yourself and tell us how the band got together?
All right. I'll start. My name is Jacob. I play the drums.
I'm Jackson. I play guitar.
I'm Chris. I do vocals.
And basically, this is my brother. Me and Jackson were brothers, and we've been like ever since we were little kids. We wanted to do a band, like be in a band, and like feel like we're a part of like a scene. And about 2 years ago, we found Ethan, and then we just started writing music, and we got involved in the Athens scene down here, which is a really good scene. And then we just kind of started from there. We've had a couple people, help us push our name out there, and really it.
You're really grateful.
Yeah.
Yeah, your guys' sound is it's pretty crazy. You found us on Instagram, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I believe you guys were, I think, our first submission, and then it started flooding in. So it took me a while to get back to you, but I was listening to your demo to this morning, and then your latest single, and the progression from your demo to your single it's almost two different bands.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how was the process going? Like, did you guys self-record your demo and then somebody helped you produce your latest single, or how did that go?
We actually self-recorded both of them. I mix the music that we do because studios are really expensive and we just don't have the money for studios. So I try to get my hands in there. Me and him, we kind of have equal part on the mix. And so I learned a lot, as you can tell, coming from the demo over to the single. And we're getting even better with our upcoming material.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And you can definitely see the progression. And that was the same year or a couple months apart?
Couple months.
Yeah, because you can definitely tell. And that's a wicked thing, because like your vocals, fuck man, like in the nicest way possible, you sound like a dying pig, and it's awesome. Like I love that fucking like the screaming is dope as fuck. So like to hear that the ability that you guys have at such a young age, and you started in 2018, I believe, 2019. So around the same time my band did. So it's nice to see other bands making leaps and bounds in their abilities. Because how old are you guys?
I'm 16.
I'm 18.
I'm 17.
Yeah, see, so you guys are still like under 20 and developing your craft. So that's a really cool thing, because I mean, being able to progress that much in that short amount of time will show you how much you progress in a year, how much you progress in 2 years as a band. And the style of music you guys chose to do is not something that most younger generation kids will go for. So how did you guys get into that death metal, almost black metal-y style?
Well,
I'll let Chris go.
whenever me and Jacob and Jackson first met, they were really into thrash, like Metallica, and
Slayer.
a lot of old school death metal, like Cannibal Corpse and Death. And I've always been like into slam and deathcore and all that, like super heavy stuff. So I introduced them. I think the band that really had the most impact on us was Chelsea Grin, because that was one of the first Recreant Crucibanger. We covered that at our second show, and throughout the 2 years it just kind of mixed together, and we made it into our own specific sound.
Yeah. Well, I could definitely see being influenced by Chelsea's Grin with the vocals. He's got the fucking gritty vocals too, which is really cool. And like the fact that you can pull that off is like, fuck. Like you've obviously learned some techniques, because you're not just running in and screaming to your throat's destroyed. So it's a cool thing to see, because you guys have developed so much in such a short amount of time that I think the more you progress, the more your style will develop, and the more your musicianship grows, your style will just completely change within another year, another 2 years. You know what I mean? So being at such a young stage is such a cool aspect, because it's completely open to you. There's no limits. And like, I think that's the one thing I would suggest, is never leave boundaries. Like never have that box that you're stuck in. Like
Yeah.
if you have a riff, if you're like, it's not really metal, it's like, who gives a fuck? You can make it metal. You know what I mean? So progression is key in music. And I think that the more you work at it, the better things will come. You know what I mean? The more fans you have, the more look that people will give you. You guys will be 20 and headlining shows. You know what I mean? So it's kind of one of those things where just don't stop, no matter what people say. If there's fucking people hate metal, you know what I mean? Especially heavy shit. So
Yeah.
there's always going to be those people who are scared of it, and it's like, fuck them. They're useless. How has COVID affected you guys and your music writing process?
We'll talk about that.
Actually, it's kind of helped us, but it's been a double-edged sword at the same time. You know, we haven't got to play shows, but also it's given us more time to like work on new music. So,
Yeah.
you know, you get some, you take some. So,
I think February 22nd, yeah, February 21st, that was our second show, and it was our last show, like after COVID hit. So we were really looking forward to summer because we're still in school. So during the summertime is when we would have been playing the most shows. We would have been, getting more like material out there really. And then COVID hit, and we were supposed to go to a studio and record our EP, but then we self-recorded it, and it's a demo now of our kind of like our sound, I guess you could say. So yeah, like he said, COVID, it's been sort of a double-edged sword for us. It's been a gift and a curse.
Yeah, I think that's a mutual thing between every band that I've talked to. It's been a blessing in the fact that we all get to sit down and write and record. But then again, the only way a band makes money this day and age is through performances. So it's really hard on anybody who is in it. But at this point, it's kind of people just want to get music out there as quick as possible.
Yeah.
And I find a lot of people aren't putting out quality.
Yeah.
Which is kind of something that you need to do. So it's that like the progression between your guys' demo to your single, you can tell that your production value has gone up.
Yeah.
Your knowledge of production value has gone up. So I think the more that you work on it, the more people will be fucking reaching out. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Sure.
And I definitely, it's not like it's bad because it's fucking wicked. It's like, especially for being 16, 17, you know what I mean? Like it's pretty gnarly.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I know a lot of kids that wouldn't be able to produce music fucking a quarter as good. So props to you guys on that, because that's it's well done. Like you hear other bands and they don't have that production value.
Yeah.
Like other submissions haven't. I've had some submissions that haven't had that production value, but I also think it's because the accessibility to things. Certain people have the interfaces and electric drums, which make shit a lot easier. So what's been your guys' biggest accomplishment so far?
Really just like I wouldn't call it success really, but just like the success of being in a band and playing shows and actually having people who want to listen to us really. And then if you have something to say.
You know, for me, one thing that I really liked was actually being able to hold the music I made in my hand, you know, like look at it, you know, just to like have that, like, damn, I made this. Like, it's like an accomplishment.
Yeah.
It makes me feel proud. Also playing live, you know, seeing people bang their heads, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a hell of a feeling when you have a crowd 2 feet away from you screaming, you know what I mean? Like in your face, the sweat off of your body, you can feel the heat between the bodies. It's totally next level. And I don't think anybody who doesn't perform will get that, because that's like, it's almost a drug. You get addicted to performing, and then you just want more and more and more and bigger shows. And being unable to perform for, I think, all musicians is kind of like, we're all fiending right now. We're all just like, give us our shit. So it's I think it's gonna be cool when we are allowed to perform and you have all these bands working together to make some epic fucking shows. And tons of crowds come out because they missed it. I think it'll be like a rebirth, especially I don't know, it's hard to say because I find like, yeah, there's a rock scene, or there's not really much though. Like if there's no pop scenes, you never see a pop scene, you know what I mean? You never see a jazz scene. Really only live band scenes that you see are rock and metal, punk rock.
Yeah.
You get the occasional reggae band. So I mean, live music is, I find, based, at least from where we are, is based off metal.
Yeah.
And I think that the appreciation for that live metal, like they used to have back when Metallica was young, will come back. I think it's just the mainstream media fears metal being the top music again,
sure.
because it's like it just promoted havoc. You know what I mean? Like everybody would just flood into shows.
Yeah.
But I think that musicians nowadays have matured a lot more.
Yeah.
Because you don't get paid the millions of dollars that fucking Axl Rose made to get drunk all the time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's we're in a weird time with music. So you guys are coming in at like the weirdest, most awkward but unique time ever. Because when I was your age performing, like we were a party band. We did like house parties, huge house parties, and like we were a weird band too. We had no genre, like every song was different, but eventually we started performing, and just the scene back then was so much more tight knit than now. So I want to see how it is after COVID, because I know that the last 10 years, everywhere the music scene has gone down because of, I don't know, I don't want to blame it on electronic music, but I'm fucking blaming it on electronic music. And I love that shit, but like that is exactly what killed it. And then the accessibility, everybody can just fucking find a band.
Yeah.
And every band's out on Spotify, so
yeah,
it just becomes your palette for music just kind of becomes blah, and you get stuck to your little core bands that you love. So it's hard to find new music too that's worth listening to. So it's kind of why we developed this, is to build a community for metal bands. So it's easy for upcoming bands like you guys and my band as well. So it's kind of a rare thing to see bands talking with other bands, so that people can see it. So what do you guys plan on doing first thing as when COVID shuts down?
Chris, you want to take this one?
Well, our like home venue, I guess you could call it, is where we would have been playing all our shows. Unfortunately, it closed. And there's not really anywhere else in Athens. But I think, going back on what you said, Rebirth, just imagine how many other bands have formed during COVID because people are just like bored and they never had that chance. So they want to get in there and try and see what it's like. So I think the lesser known venues in Athens, like Jacob, what was the ones called?
World Famous is one.
Yeah.
World Famous. There's a couple others. I think those are going to start taking the place of Caledonia, or even Caledonia may reopen.
Yeah.
The building's still there, and it's going to be an influx of people wanting to play and go to shows. So I think that's what we want to do. We want to go just right out the gate, play shows, and hopefully not just stay in one city, just go different cities, maybe different states.
Yeah.
Yeah, and because you're young, don't you're young, take advantage of it. You know what I mean? You live once, and I think the last year has shown that nothing is predictable anymore.
Yeah.
So don't hold back. Like that's kind of where I think every band needs to be, is just like, you know what? We could be shut down again next year. So the time we have, we may as well utilize and just kill what we can on stage and like with anything we can. So I think it's really weird too, because back in the day you could post a song on Facebook and tons of people would see it and you'd have tons of views and fans and likes. Nowadays you can't. It doesn't work like that. So understanding marketing, it was never really a part of being in a band before. Like, yeah, you had to make flyers and word of mouth was very easy to get people to go to shows. Nowadays, to gain fans, because we're not performing, you have to physically pay money for likes or find clever ways to gain them. Yeah. And then it's weird because you're not going to actually have those. They're not actual fans. You know what I mean? Like they may like your music online, but they're not going to be able to make it to shows unless you go to them.
Yeah.
So that does kind of like kill the local ability of finding fans like where you guys are.
Yeah, that kind of takes me back to like the Athens scene really, because for at least from our experience, Athens is a really supportive community. We're mostly all musicians here. We all are doing something involved with music, and we like everybody's attracted to their own, like their own things that they enjoy. But at the same time, we're able to branch out because we and this band called Guillotine, we're kind of the only bands doing the death metal style of things, at least that I've heard so far. Most of the other stuff is like sludge and doom. So with more bands coming out doing their own thing, it makes more room for, I don't really know the word, but like I don't know. But like
It's more diverse.
Yeah, but yeah, very diverse. Yeah, it makes more diversity amongst people and draws more people from outside the scene to see what's going on.
Yeah, I always find it's cool to set up 3 different bands. Like you have like your death metal, your thrash band, and then you have like your metalcore band.
Yeah.
Because it brings in everybody. But then like when you're at a venue and you're meeting and seeing a live band, it's really hard not to like them.
Yeah.
Like I can only say like I've ever seen a handful of bands that I was like, I genuinely don't like their style.
Yeah.
But like the rest have been like, you know what? Like watching a band live versus hearing them is a big thing for me too, because you can record as great as you want, but if you can't perform your song, like you're not, it doesn't matter. Like there's no limit to, or no comparing what a live musician can do to a studio musician. So
yeah,
for me, being able to perform live and kill it more than you're recording is like a key thing. So I think learning that ability, how to captivate people live, is a key thing, especially with different styles. You can bring in different people, like you said, and then you're making the thrash fans your fans, kind of a thing. You're kind of just like all working together to build up this huge thing where your scene is where the bands are getting seen from. You know what I mean? So I think that over the past 10 years, the world itself has, because social media has become so key, where everybody has to focus on it with Instagram likes and all that, that they've actually stopped worrying about the local thing, local aspect, meeting and getting friends with other bands so that you can do shows that help build each other up. So it's a weird time, like I was saying. So it's, you guys are coming in at a really unique time.
Yeah.
And I think that being able to utilize the marketing aspect early, have the music and the production in your own, all in your own hands, you guys will have a big up on other bands.
Yeah.
Who just think that the recording is key and just sharing, but like learning how to properly share is key. So that's the marketing aspect. And I don't know. It's weird because no one can really predict where the music industry is going at this point.
Yeah, for sure.
But on that note, is there anything you guys would change, if you could change, in the music industry?
I just wish sometimes feel like we're like more supportive. You know, that makes sense. Like in a way, like a lot of like underground bands just kind of get buried or swept under the rug. You know, but all these copy and paste bands get the limelight. But there's all these unique bands that that I think deserve to have a more of a chance to be heard. That makes sense.
No, 100%. It's it definitely seems like it used to be a huge thing, a huge open community. Now it's like closed off into the subcategories. Like, oh, you play deathcore, we're not talking to you. But I think support on all aspects, from bands and fans. I'd like to see more people show up.
Yeah.
Be willing to pay $5 to go see 5 bands, because like it's $1 a band, man. You can't buy anything that good for $5 other than go see live music. And I think music itself is such a thing. It's a universal language where, I mean, you could go play drums in Africa and you don't have to speak the same language, but they're going to be able to connect with you. You know what I mean? Like, he's going to pick up his hand drum and start playing, and you guys are going to be grooving together. So it's a universal language. It doesn't matter what you speak, what your political view, what your religious view is. It's music. And I think people used to be more in tune with music, because like you look at like Vietnam, there's so many revolutions in music that were led, and people were like following music as like a whole revolutionary stance. And nowadays it's just kind of candy. It's everywhere. It's in every corner. So
Yeah.
I wish that that connection was there still, and that support on all levels was there, especially from big labels.
Yeah.
Stop worrying about fucking likes on Facebook. Listen to the song like you used to do. You know what I mean? Like, listen to the band. Listen. Don't worry about how fucking popular they are. It's not it's not a popularity contest. It's musicianship. And I think that that independence with bands, like being able to record your own music, is key. I think that we need to take our all aspects back in the hands of the bands and just rebuild it from the ground up.
Yeah, for sure.
Is there anything you guys want to say before we wrap up?
Here, you go ahead, Jacob.
No, you can go. That's fine.
This is kind of tracking on what you just said. Like, people don't think about music in the way that it's an art. They think of it as a popularity contest. Because the first thing people say when I tell them I'm in a band is, how many followers?
Yeah.
Like, it's kind of like the mentality that if I don't have 30,000 followers, then I'm dismissed as a shitty band. And that is one of the saddest things I could think of in any music industry or any form of musical. I don't even know the word. It's just, people need to not think about it in a way that it's a popularity contest, more of the art, and that I'm not in it for, having all this money or nice cars or anything. I want to be fun. And because I genuinely like doing it. I could never see myself in an office job or a retail job.
Yeah.
And, I could live in a 1-bedroom house and be happy as long as I'm living the life I like.
Yeah.
I think more people need to live like that. It's very true. It's a weird time for everyone in every industry and every aspect of life. I think we're all so separated.
Yeah.
It's just kind of weird. But I think it'll change.
Yeah, for sure.
I definitely think it will, for sure.
Yeah.
All right, guys.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
I would say, especially with the uproar of like a lot of younger bands, we're all kind of doing our own thing. We've had so much influence from like other generations of music that we've kind of melted it down and created our own thing. And there's a lot of younger bands out there who are coming up that are, doing some pretty good stuff. So
yeah, no, and I definitely think that people need to open up to new bands and new music more and stop worrying about the popularity contest. Like you said, is just give it a chance.
Yeah.
Like it, even the first time you listen to it and you don't like it, like still listen to it. Give it a chance, because it could be a part that completely changes you and brings you into it, So I definitely agree that is a big thing that needs to change. And that's not even just the music industry. That's just world. The world needs to change that whole mentality of popularity contest, because it's not, social media means nothing. Like, it's nothing. It's nice and all to have 30,000 fans, but in reality, how many of those are paid for? How many of those go to your show? You need genuine support. And I think that will now happen with everything opening slowly and performances happening again, hopefully, because I think we all just want to get out and play.
Yeah.
Like, I know the moment every single band gets on stage, the next day they're going to be like, oh my God, my neck hurts. Like, so like warm up before you guys step on stage, get some headbanging in, because like, I know a lot of us haven't done it for months and months and months. All right, guys. Well, thanks for coming by. And we'll definitely talk again. If you release some new music, let me know and we'll have you back on.
All right,
sure.
sweet.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, guys. Have a good day.
You too.
What up, headbangers? Thanks for checking out the video. Don't forget to hit that little likey and subscribe and hit the little bell. Hit the bell.
So you can stay up to date
Yeah.
on all the shit we got going on.
All of it.